Okay, so here's another example. This is in context here with a spring. You have some spring is going up and down, and it oscillates at a period of 2 seconds. So you got a spring. I think the weight is released at a minimum at t equals 0. Okay, so it's whoops, I'm gonna maybe make that at 2.3 meters, somewhere around here. 2.3 meters. It's gonna go up. It's gonna come back down. And it takes 2 seconds to do that. Okay, and then the max is going to be hit at 4.5 meters. So there's my graph. What do I need? I need amplitude. Okay, so again, amplitude is going to be half the distance. Distance meaning we're going to subtract those coordinates, 4.5 and 2.3, and divide it by 2. So we get an amplitude of 1.1. My vertical shift is going to be the middle or the average. So I'm going to take those positions, those y coordinates, and find the average of those two y coordinates. So I'm getting 6.8, so 3.4. Okay, and then I want my period. Okay, the period in this case they gave you the period of 2, and then my horizontal shift I'm going to use. Actually, I'm going to use 0 here. And I'm going to use 0 and go up. Now, I could have used this maximum point, and that maximum point happens to be at 1. So maybe I'll do 2 examples here where I use that point, and I use the middle point, or sorry, the beginning point. So if I were to use, for negative cosine, my horizontal shift is equal to 0. So my equation looks like this. Amplitude of 1.1, and it's going to be a negative cosine graph. 2 pi over 2. My period shows up in my equation. My horizontal shift is 0, so I don't really need that. I'm just going to leave that as x then. And then I'm going to have my middle point. Okay? So that would be perfectly fine to leave it like that, and we're using a negative cosine function. Now the alternative would be I could use a positive cosine function, and my horizontal shift would equal 1. So the difference is we end up with this 1.1, negative is the positive, but everything else remains the same. 2 pi over 2, x minus 1 plus 3.4. Okay, so there it is. I can use that shift or that shift depending on if I want to use upside down cosine or the right side up cosine graph. A lot of people ask, can they simplify this fraction? Absolutely, but the reason why I leave it like this is because it's very convenient, because this form shows me the period in the actual equation. Okay, so that's the form that I've shown here. Okay, there is our period. If I leave it as 2 pi over t, that denominator represents the period. Okay, so in this case here, the s here represents the max, the x value at the max. Here, this would be the x value at the middle, okay, the mean value.